Hello, backgammon fans. Bill Riles and Tar Mendocino from our studios here in Houston, Texas. This is the weekend of our 2021 Texas Backgammon Championships. It's Super Bowl Sunday, and we have some Super Bowl matches here. First up, they're just getting started, is John O'Hagan, who's your BG player, and Ray Fogerlin. Ray F. on the screen. This is the semifinals of the championship division playoff. It's a best of three series of 7-point matches. So whoever wins two matches first advances to the final. The other semifinal is going to be played after this one, and that will involve Jonas Seawald from Colorado against Rudy Lionbach from Dallas, and Rudy's had quite the weekend. He's in the finals of the Speed Gammon, he was in the finals of the Longhorn Classic, and now he's in the semifinals of the championship. So I'm going to try to offer some non-expert commentary here somewhat, but hopefully give a little bit of insight, a little bit of definition, hopefully any non-expert players who watch this and want to learn will, I'll try to address them more so than the grandmasters, because the grandmasters, for the most part, knows what's going on anyway. So here we are in the first game. Early on, as you can see, it's been a bit of a hitting exchange. Ray has 6 checkers back, so we suspect he will likely be playing a back game of sorts, depending on how the timing develops here. John has 3 back, but it's managed to get 1 out and around. So it's going to be a back game played by Ray in all likelihood. Now, what's interesting with these types of players, and of course these are stellar players. John O'Hagan is one of the best backgammon players in the world. He was a world championship finalist one year. He's in the top 10 on Galaxy. Just a superb technical player, very consistent. You're going to see a PR somewhere around 3 from John O'Hagan almost every match. Now, Ray's an extremely experienced player, a member of the American Backgammon Hall of Fame. An extremely good player, but probably not quite the technical player John is, and probably not quite the consistent player John is. So Ray's certainly capable of, playing a 3 or something like that. Ray may play a 5 or a 6 as well. So he's a little bit more inconsistent, but certainly a more than competent player. I've found it kind of interesting as we see this game develop here, and it's fairly straightforward to this point. Knowing these players as well as I do, they're both very good friends of mine. It's kind of interesting. I think John is very steady, unemotional, just plays the game. Ray, of course, he's calmed down somewhat over the years, but much more of a mercurial and emotional type player. And I think it's interesting. I think the online game doesn't address Ray's talents as well as live play does, because Ray is kind of a master of the intangibles of the game, emotions, psychology. He reads what the other player's doing. He tries to make things happen, maybe by his motions and his, delaying decisions or rushing decisions. He tries to influence the game. So he's much more of master of the intangibles of the game. And I think he loses that edge a bit with the online matches, where John is probably a very similar player online and live over the board. It's interesting. Several years ago in our tournament in San Antonio, Ray was playing Mochi in the final of the Dual Duel, which was a concept where both the PR and the score influence the results. And afterwards, there was an article written about their final match, and I had written a preface to that. And it kind of addressed the fact, I said it was a match between the best player in the game, who was Mochi, still is, and the best player of the game, who's Ray. In the, he knows how to play the game. It's a game. He knows how to play it, and all the intangibles and everything as well. And it's kind of that pairing today. John O'Hagan, the great technician of the game, and Ray, the more mercurial, emotional, very good player as well. So anyway, this game has developed, as you see here, to it's kind of a holding game right now. The early pip differential has been diminished somewhat, and now there's only well, it's 23 at the moment, but the double deuce, I guess, is to be played. Yes, so now we're 15 pips, but we've got this, well, it's a very classic, common kind of holding game standoff here between, checkers on mid points and bar points. So it's a real timing issue. There's some double fours, which you're going to remove the timing issue. So John's going to be kind of a straight race here. He's got a fairly substantial lead, so he'll probably cash this right here at this juncture. And there it is. Ray will drop it, and it's 1-0 John in the first game of the 7-point match. So here we go. John 6-4, kind of a standard opening, certainly with the lead. Ray's gonna hit with the 5-3. John with a nice double ace, which will make the 5-point. Ray safeties that, so he's escaped one back checker. John's going to come out to the 18, I imagine. Yes. Ray can make the 4. So it's kind of some really pretty easy roles to play so far as this game begins to take shape. That nice double ace that John rolled in blocked Ray's subsequent 6-5. So the one checker that Ray had escaped is now back in the back again. It's interesting in watching players of this caliber, and many of us who play a lot. So many plays, somebody that's a less experienced player, just said, man, those guys play so fast. Well, they've seen everything. They've seen it all. And many of the plays are quite straightforward. And typically what you'll see them do is on the straightforward plays, they'll go ahead and make the plays and save their reserve time on the clock for those difficult, critical junctures that will occur in the match. Time management is a real skill in tournament backgammon. Now this is a 7-point match online. It's using what's called normal time settings on Galaxy. So it was, I guess it's a 10-second delay and 1 point per minute in the bank. So you have 10 seconds to make your play before the reserve time in the bank starts running down. It's normally 12 seconds in live play, but it's 10 seconds in online play because you don't have to pick up the dice and shake them and roll them and so forth. The roll is instantaneous, so it doesn't take the time. So anyway, John's starting to build a bit of a prime over there. Has a nice board. And Ray's trying to position himself to have a nice defensive board of his own. So here we go. He gets that checker out. So now it's almost an even pip count. So it's going to be just a matter of timing and rolls here for the most part. Ray can come down to the 3. You know, neither one of them wants to get hit in this sort of situation. So again, it's all timing and all rolls, and then you have to, at some point, the rolls are going to force someone to make judicious decisions, calculated decision as to, you know, when to try to break free and get by the other guy's checkers. And we're approaching that point. Ray's got a 5-1. You know, he doesn't want to, one, he doesn't want to leave a double shot. Secondly, he doesn't want to crunch too much in his home board, but you can see here by this play, he duplicated the 4s. So that is quite a common strategy, try to duplicate the opponent's good numbers so that they can't accomplish everything that they would like to accomplish if they roll the good number that they need. So, you know, very common, straightforward play. And again, 1 pip differential, but there again, John gets to double 5, much like he had the double 4 in the first game, and he breaks to a big lead and very possibly will cash this game here. Ray will probably drop. It's you know, near the cusp of taking it, but probably a little outside the range. You know, and it's kind of funny, as I mentioned in the Longhorn final match the other night, Rudy Longenbach versus, Ray said, don't overuse that same strategy. But in the Roberto Litzenberger win in the Longhorn Masters versus Rudy Longenbach, it was kind of sort of thing. I mean, it was a terribly lopsided match with, you know, Roberto got everything, and Rudy was just struggling just to stay in the match. And I'd mentioned at that time, and we can mention it here, the short match. It's, you know, it takes discipline to, you know, to give up the games, to turn down the cubes when it's appropriate. I mean, here, Ray, it's still a relatively close race, but you know, you just have to, you can't panic and try to, you know, change the situation or all. There's a nice roll by Ray, which gets him around, and again, we're pretty close in the pip count, so it's just going to be pretty much a straight race here, who rolls the best. But you just have to be disciplined, don't overreact or underreact to various situations, and just play the game. So here we go, double deuces. So we're at 2 pip count differential, and normally standard rules of thumbs in races of this nature that if the person on shake has a 10% lead in the pip count, then he's more than likely got a double, or certainly the one behind is if he's within 10%, he has a take. So it's there it is. What's our count? There's the 8 pip count differential. So John has the double, Ray, you know, right on the cusp, so he has to take this. And now again, it's just, you know, all of that's mathematical probability and so forth, and then it just becomes who rolls the best in this situation. So we're looking at a situation where, you know, Ray could pick up 2 points here, and get it back to even, or John could move to a 4-0 lead. And it looks, you know, to date, pardon me, I'm getting a couple of buzzes on my phone here. I think Tara went in the other room to take care of some of that. John has gotten the better of this series of rolls, but Ray's not out of the what is all of this? Ray's not out of the woods yet. It's not likely, but it's not impossible. Now it's impossible. And 4-0 John in this first match. And again, John gets the, perhaps the second best opening roll, 3-1 being the best. So he's off to an advantage in this game. So again, but score in match play, certainly score has a great influence as to players, not only their play, their doubling actions, and so forth. In a 7-point match, John has a 4-0 lead. It's quite a commanding lead. He wants to play comparatively conservatively with his lead. He doesn't want to, put a cube in play or big cubes in play and give Ray a chance to easily catch up on a given game, maybe with some lucky rolls. Ray, by the same token, is he's in a hole here, and he needs to play a bit more aggressively, a bit more assertively, try to make John make some tough decisions, and seize on the opportunity. Ray sees on the opportunity to maybe put a cube in play, get a gammon, get back into the game at 4-all. But here again, we can see, John's had a couple of nice rolls early. He's got a 29 pip lead. So, and here comes the cube. And Ray takes it, not unadvisedly. It's score, perhaps. This is the, the crack in the door that Ray was hoping for. And certainly, if things turn around a bit and Ray gets a bit of an advantage, sees an opening, then we're going to see that cube go right back across at John pretty quickly.
That's a sticks roll score.
I don't know that this is the point. Ray was obviously contemplating it a bit. But, think about the situation. And here, it may go right here. Because, if John wins that game at 2 points, he's up 6-0 to 7. It's almost insurmountable. So Ray's going to be assertive, try to get back in the match. And he did. You could see he recubed that in a volatile position. John didn't want to take the cube at 4, and perhaps Ray get lucky and win a gammon for the match. So you can see the dynamics of match play. And this is a short match, a 7-point match, but we're what is called now, John is 3 away, Ray is 5 away. And even in long matches, 17-point match, 19-point match, very often you're going to get to this sort of situation where one player is 3 away and the other's 5 away. So it's quite common strategies and knowledge and skills related to match play that are applicable to every match. So Ray's got a nice set of 5s to contemplate here. They move a lot of freight in the name of pips, 20 pips, but you can't do nothing extremely productive there. Now he's got the 5-2, which allows him to make the 4. So now he's got something going. A little behind in the pips, but he's got a good structure start. He slotted the 5 to try to build a board, a blocking board, but John hits the slot. So we're going to have a bit of an exchange here as this particular game adjusts to the flavor that it takes. And right now we have this hitting exchange, and John keeps rolling 5s. So, and in this case, multiple 5s. So, Ray was hoping John might roll a 6-4, which would be a dance. John rolled double nickels, and Ray makes the aside comment that it's the wrong 10. So let's see, what's John going to do? 2 of them are obvious. He's got to come in. He's got to make the 3-point. So then does he come out to the 15, or does he make the ace? he's going to be well ahead in the race. I suspect he might not want to bury the checkers, and he may come out to the to his 15. But well, he makes the ace. That 5-point defensive or offensive 5-point, defensive 5-point, I guess it would be. John's and Ray's 5-point is a very nice place to be. So he decides it's not the time to leave it, even though he's got 36 pip lead. It's been a fairly quiet match to this point. John's had probably the better dice, but we haven't really seen much in the way of fireworks or dynamic play here. I suspect that may change here pretty quickly as Ray is, to salvage this game, he's going to have to make some things happen. So let's see if he can do it here. He doesn't have much to work with at the moment. That's okay. So now you can see Ray had positioned himself, and John had to make a roll to leave the shot. He leaves the shot so Ray can hit it, but Ray can't cover that slot, and John has a 4-point board over there. So Ray eschews the hit for the moment, wanting to be a little better positioned and hoping that he'll get another shot later on with a better board. Now that's kind of an awkward roll for Ray. Does he, he'd like to move the one from the back and come on around. He doesn't want to bury checkers, so there it is. Gets hit. So now we'll just have to see if Ray can roll a 2 or 5 and maybe hit a blot that John's going to have to leave here after this. Ray needs the 2 or the 5. He doesn't get it. Yeah, and that was duplicated 4s. Again, very basic conceptual backgammon that John made his play to duplicate 4s, so Ray would have to make choices. So John's contemplating sending that cube. He does. Again, the disciplined player in Ray, we all know Ray, he hates to give up a cube. He hates to drop a point. But that one was really pretty judicious. So now with John at 2 away, Ray at 5 away, it's going to be pretty interesting. John's in a position where he's, for the most part, not going to double for anything. And Ray knows that. And Ray just has to, try to seize the opportunity to make a point here. If Ray can get to win this game, even a single point, then he's 4 away, and we're at position 2 away, 4 away, where John may likely take this. He doesn't want to necessarily get to that 2-away, 4-away position either. 2-away, 3-away, from John's perspective, it's not terribly different. He just doesn't have a free drop if it's 2-away, 3-away as opposed to 2-away, 4-away. But so here we go. Ray has got the cube in play, which is what he wants. He's got a stronger position. He's ahead in the pip count. He's got a nice board started. So let's see if he can capitalize on the opportunity. Fixing to see, Ray hopes to make the 4. He's not above from this point. John's not got much on his side in as far as a good board or so forth. Ray's going to be trying to hit or blitz or whatever he can do to seize on this opportunity. There's a potential gammon in front of him. 6-4 doesn't hit nothing. He'd like to hit on the ace with on that checker, but I guess he's going to go to the what is that, 2 and a 3. So not quite. Let's see. He played it a little bit differently. But John knows Ray's going to be attacking this checker. Ooh, that hurts. Double 3. He can't move the back checkers, so, and he doesn't have a checker on the 4 to hit on the ace. So boy, it's going to be some crunching going on here. Crunching meaning Ray's going to have to move his checkers further in than he wanted. And he gets fortunate in that John can't escape. So Ray's even yet after that bad exchange might have the opportunity, and he does get the opportunity. He can make the point on the ace.
I would have split too.
He split, which he didn't want the back checker to get those to get trapped by rolling another double 3 or something like that. So he splits them, which was a nice play. John's got to make the decision now. Does he hit on the ace or does he come in on the 4?
He hits 2 maybe.
Yes, he could hit. He could hit 2.
Yeah. Oh,
Ray, I missed pointing on you. I thought it might have been thought it might have been a strategic move, but Ray comments that it's kind of funny. I thought it might have been a strategic play in sorts, and I'm thinking, man, why'd he do that? So I wasn't going to second guess players better than me necessarily, but as it ends up, apparently it was just an oversight, and as Ray has commented, it wouldn't have mattered anyway because John rolled the 4-1 and would have entered, and now Ray rolls kind of a not so good double 4. But he does have a good, 46 pip lead. So, if he gets fortunate with a set of doubles here or there, perhaps he's got a lot of racing equity in this game anyway. Now he's got the 3-2. What does he do? Does he, he can play the 2 off the 5 and just take his chances on rolling a set or escaping with those 2 back there. If you split them now, it's there's a good chance both get hit and perhaps closed out. So I think that's the prudent play at this point, and he just got to hope he gets lucky with the next roll, because he has no 4s, 5s, and 6s to play. So he's gonna in all likelihood, he was going to roll something that was going to require him to move. But it dupes the 4s, and John rolls the 3-2. Again, you can see some of the terrible roll. But how often that duplication comes into play is a basic principle of backgammon. Here he rolls a 2-1, and since they're both 4 away from their shuts, he can't duplicate again. Well, he can't. Nice play. He moves them inside, which leaves retains the duplicated 4s, but the first one gets hit, the second one gets hit, and first match is probably over. But this, as I explained early on, is a best of 3 series, so John will be up 1 match to 0, and Ray will be Ray will have to come back and win 2 games, or 2 matches, I'm sorry. So John trying to efficiently position his checkers so that ideally he wants to position them so there's no way he can leave a shot. But he wasn't fortunate to do it. Now he's going to have to clear the 4. Now there's a gap. Double 4s. So, Ray's got a small possibility here. Gets the shot, misses it, so it's match time here. John wins the first match, 7-2, and let's see, Galaxy will give us their 3-ply results here. They're generally fairly accurate, but most of the top players will rerun these matches, through XG at world-class settings. Ray, I hate missing a play, and he's probably going to see it in the PRs as well. But hey, it happens. Happens to the best of them, and he just a complete oversight. I need a more important match to concentrate, Ray. Well, he's got a more important match to concentrate coming up, because if he loses the next one, he's out. And it's interesting in this, and there's, they very close. It's a 5-7-8, 5-8-8. Not a good PR for John O'Hagan. He's normally very consistently in the 3 range. Again, as I said earlier, this isn't uncommon for Ray. He can certainly play a lot better than that. But cost me the analysis, too. He's right. That 4-1 play cost him. He would have won the PR. It's interesting, and I neglected to say early on, I guess, that... am I still on while you're doing that? In this format, in this tournament, we ran eight-person brackets, and some of the players could re-enter and play in multiple brackets. You had to be out of one before you could get into another. But anyway, there were 8 bracket winners that advanced to the playoff for the championship division. As it turns out, Ray was the only person who won 2 brackets, so he got a bye into the semifinals. The others, let's see, John O'Hagan beat David Wynn in the quarterfinals. Jonah and Rudy both won, and let's see, one of them beat Sean Garber, and the other one beat Ron Wortman. So it was, those were the 7 people who advanced. And it's kind of interesting because we had just a great field. And all of these guys that advanced, Wortman, Longenbach, Garber, Seawald, O'Hagan, David Wynn, and Ray are all accomplished players. But we had some great talent that didn't make it to the playoffs. Victor Ashkenazi, Michael Niagara, Chris Trencher, and others. So, so a lot of, it's backgammon. But this format was really neat, too, and that these guys could, it was you paid your entry fee, you joined whatever side pools you wanted, and then you could re-enter additional brackets with no additional charge. So, and the side pools carried over. So there was a lot of incentive to re-enter these other brackets, and they certainly did so. So, and you were totally alive to potentially win the tournament right up to the very end. So all through play Thursday, Friday, all day Saturday, people were playing brackets where they still had the opportunity to win the tournament. And now we're down to this. Again, John's up 1-0. Ray is backed into the corner. He has to win this match to extend the series. Jonah Seawald and Rudy Longenbach were waiting in their wings for in the other semifinal. It was interesting. You saw Ray's comment early on here, and these guys are good friends, know each other well, very much respect each other's games. Ray commented about try rolling fewer doubles this match. So, and I didn't even pay attention to the luck factors on that rating to see how significant it was. I think it was 2 or 3, which is fairly decent luck factor for John, but it's not astronomical or, way off the charts by any means. And they both played essentially equivalent PRs. So here we go. Next game's on here. Interesting 6-3 to play for John. There's going to be some shots somewhere. And Ray's got a 3-point board started over here. Not much in the way of flexibility to immediately enhance it, but the 6-3 doesn't play superbly. Might come to the 8 and then look for a 3. I can't see John burying that checker to the ace, but he may surprise me. He will have, what is that, a 14 pip lead after the roll. But as we mentioned earlier, they typically, you see these guys have been playing relatively fast with rolls that are straightforward, moves that are straightforward, and he does play to the 8 and bury the ace. But you can see they judiciously do use some of that bank time when it's a necessary, critical, not so obvious decision. And you saw John burn about a minute on that one play right there early in the match. And again, he's got, a number that doesn't play. And Ray has more ammo to enhance that 3-point board. He can get to a 4-point board very quickly. And John's going to have to leave a shot. So, the rolls certainly early in this first game of the match have not been, the first match, things went pretty easily for John. He's had 2 tough decisions in a row, and there's another 30-second burn in the off his reserve. He's having to struggle with these decisions. Now, Ray gets unlucky by not hitting the shot that John's had to leave. So now Ray's got kind of a awkward decision. He slots the 5, but you can see, if he were to roll a 6 on the next roll that doesn't hit anything or whatever, then he's got a decision as to how to play the 6. So he's lost some flexibility in his position by having to put all of those checkers in his home board. Once again, John, it's a number, he can play it safely, but it really starts getting awkward. There, Ray hits with the 5-3. John, the master of rolling 5s, it's been all day he's like that. So now he's got to select his ace, 8-7, which we might expect there. Ray hits that. Now he's got a choice here. He could hit the 1 on the ace, or he could make that defensive 5-point slot on the 5, and that's what he's chosen to do. Now John rolls the deuce. Now it's what 6 does he play? Does he come out? I think he probably comes out now before Ray has a chance to make the board. He could stay back on the deuce and make his ace point, but I don't think that's very constructive. So he may try to pay now and rather than pay later and get this checker home, and that's exactly what he does. And Ray accommodates him by missing it. Ray's going to, what does he do? He makes the deuce, or does he play 2 to the 12-point and slot the deuce? Both of them, as you can see, they've gotten into a series of rolls here that are not that straightforward, and they're having to burn a bit of time to figure out the best roll, develop a game plan based on the rolls they're getting, and and try to accomplish their goals here. Again, John's got options here. He could hit the blot, but Ray's got a 4.5-point board, and John has a blot in his home board. So, he could hit and cover the ace, but then he's got 3 blots out here in Ray's home board, and I don't think he's real excited about trying that direction, because he could, he would only have a 2-point board at that point. Ray's in all likelihood going to come in, and and Ray would have shots at 3 blots, and John, as we suspected, chooses not to go that route. So Ray's going to hit on the 8, come in and hit on the 8. Oh, John does a roll of 5, but hey, a 1-4 adds to 5. So, John's been quite fortunate to date. Now, Ray's probably going to tidy up, come in with a 2, and then cover the 8. But, advantage John at the moment. It's interesting, and you don't see it on Galaxy because they don't show the any moves that you might make in trying to decide what you're going to play. Other servers, you might see those intermediary moves, and certainly in live play, oftentimes over the board play, you see players moving checkers back and forth, kind of visualizing what their various options are. Other players rarely do that. They just sit there and kind of, Ray, you haven't missed yet, and that's probably true. But many players just can visualize what they see, and you rarely see them move checkers back and forth. They just ultimately make the move that they want to make. So it's kind of interesting. Okay, now John goes ahead and sends the cube. It's kind of an awkward position for Ray here, but he takes it. He's way down in the count, but he's got a 4-point board. John's going to have to move something. Ray counts on getting a checker out and coming around pretty soon. So he's got some flexibility and some play. But anyway, different styles of play. It's kind of fun. I know playing online, where like on Backgammon Studio Heroes is an example, as contrasted to Galaxy here. You can actually see the tentative plays, when players move checkers back and forth, and certainly online you can do that very quickly. It's just clicks, and so many people do that. And it's on their time on the clock, so nothing to be said about it. But it bugs certain players. It bugs me a little bit to see somebody move checkers back and forth 10 times. But hey, they do it on their clock, then so be it. Some people advocate touch moves. If you play chess or various other games, if you touch a piece, then that piece is moving. Some people, Neil Kazaros most prominently perhaps, in the U.S., he advocates touch move for backgammon. Visualize what you want to do, decide it. Once you touch a checker, it's got to move. That would be a pretty radical variation or deviance from the way the game is typically played. Now, John... it's kind of played out like he suspected it was going to. He's still 40 pips up, but it's kind of played out the way Ray thought it might too, and that John got into some awkwardness. There was a decent probability Ray was going to get a shot. John rolls to double 4. So Ray's leaving with the 1 and just hoping John rolls a 5-1 or a 6-1 here, and Ray gets a chance to hit it. There it is. 5-3 won't do it. So John's going to have a 2-0 lead in the second match here. Again, he won the first match 7-2. So, but as we talked about a little bit about time, they started this match with 7 minutes. So here in the very first game, John, faced with a number of difficult decisions, has used over half of his reserved time. So he's going to have to be cognizant of that throughout the remainder of the match. You don't want to get into a situation where you don't have any time. Now, these players are certainly capable of playing very well without a clock, just playing on the delay. But there are those situations when you'd like to think a little bit. Some of the better players, if you watch this UBC championship here over the last couple of weeks, you saw several games where Mochi and Hideaki Ueda, they both got down to just mere seconds left in matches, and still get played, magnificently well. But they made and the occasional error that they wouldn't have made had they had the time to think about it. So time management is a big portion of the game, and a number of players, again, they think if they end the match without having used essentially all of their time, then they've wasted opportunities to think about various options and moves. Michael Nyagu is somewhat like that. Rarely do you see him having hardly any time left on the clock. Mochi's like that. Victor used to be like that. Not as significantly now as he used to be, but the very good players can be very deliberate at times because they can go through calculations that you just can't imagine to determine the equities of various plays. I was laughing with someone the other day, 2 or 3 years ago in Chicago, in their Masters jackpot. I think it was a semifinal. Michi was playing Akiko, and Akiko gave Michi a cube. And again, Michi's one of these. He's pretty deliberate at times, but he's also a good time manager. He had not used a whole lot of time, so he had quite a bit of reserve time. She gives him an extremely critical cube, and he sat there and did the math and studied it and thought about it for 8 minutes with the clock running. So he went from like 11 minutes of reserve to 3 minutes to reserve on one play. So, it's again, I mean, there's so many intricacies and subtleties and so forth to backgammon, not only just the checker play, the cube play, and in tournaments you have match equity decisions based on score. You have clock considerations and how to best utilize the time that you have. So it's really quite interesting. Now here's a game, even pip count at this point. Ray's built up a nice home board over here. John's got the 2 checkers to clear from his mid. So again, it's kind of that not unusual kind of a standoff type situation here now. Ray rolls the double nickels and chooses to run. He has a 4-pip lead after it. John replies with the 3s, so he's going to have the 8-pip lead. Whoa, the 6s from Ray, so it's going to give him a fairly considerable pip count lead here. So what's that? 9, here comes the cube. John's going to drop this, yeah. So Ray's probably thinking it's about time I got a big set of doubles, and he's back in it at 2-1 O'Hagan. 4s for Ray, very nice roll. He's going to make both 5 points, and pretty strong position when you can have both the offensive and defensive 5 points. Going to make the 4. Now Ray's got the much stronger position, but he's 15 pips behind, so he initiates a little aggressive hit there. And then he's going to make the 2 here, but he was hoping to cover that 3-point. He goes for the bar to get the 5 prime. I thought he might point on it and take the dice out of John's hands, but so here we're going to see Ray cash this one, I think. by cashing, I mean doubling. He decides that perhaps the opportunities for a gammon are greater, and that he'll play on and see if that might develop. He can always cash it a bit later. As long as he maintains that 6 prime, is able to maintain that 6 prime, then John can't escape. So, and now with John on the bar, his other checkers are frozen. So, Ray has a fairly good gammon chance now, or Ray has a fairly good gammon chance. John, is starting to get to move some of those checkers from his outfield now. So, the gammon chances are being diminished a bit. Now Ray can close it out. So he does have the distinct possibility of an uncubed gammon here for 2 points to take the lead in the game. In the game. Now you'll see as Ray bears in, he's going to try to leave his spares on the high points so that he can efficiently take those off before he has to break any of his points and allow John the opportunity to come in. So that was the perfect structure. With initially Red set it up as spares 1, 4, 5, 6, which is the absolute best structure. So unfortunately for Ray, he only got 1 off there, but he offsets that with a double 6s. So looks like the uncubed gammon is fairly likely here. So Ray's going to move to a 3-2 lead in a second match. Not impossible for John to escape. It is now. So it's 3-2 Ray. Again, John leads this best of 3 series with by winning the first match. So here we are, 3-2 Ray in the second. Ray, see, I do better when you miss. Don't we all? So, does Ray make the bar? Or does he want to hit that checker and put a third one back here? Kind of will set the tone for the game. So what's his game plan here? He hits the checker, puts the third one back. That's it. You had quite a few good roll in our 2 matches earlier, I think in one of the earlier brackets, maybe even a final of one of the earlier brackets, Ray beat John 2 matches to 0. And it was interesting in that I think John outplayed Ray in both matches, but lost both. So here we are. John obviously teasingly commented there that maybe he's looking for a little revenge, and Ray says, "Oh, I know." So again, it's interesting, and it's interesting too how the game's kind of developed with this virus going on. It's all online play now, but which is quite a bit different. You lose the social interaction that you have in over-the-board play and what have you. But it's kind of interesting in that some of these guys are developing much more of interesting personalities and chatting online in a written method. I know during this tournament I had WhatsApp groups for the participants in various tournaments, and it's raised like a trucker on a CB radio. He's chatting and commenting all the time. He really likes it, and he's a funny guy. If y'all know him, he's he has a reputation of a hard ass, and perhaps he was in the past at one time, but he's mellowed somewhat. He's always had a heart of gold. He's hilarious, and he really enjoys the chatting on the WhatsApp stuff. And you've seen a little bit of chatting exchange here in these matches between John and Ray. they're going to focus on the match, but it's not unusual for the occasional comment or chat back and forth between them. Certainly more so probably from Ray than from John. So here we go again. Let's see. John's got an early positional advantage, perhaps, and certainly what's he going to have here? A 30 pip lead, but he's got little Wilbur in the background here that he's still got to get out. So what's he do? Play to the 5 and step up with his back guy? Yeah, there we go. So he's got to get the trailer moving here, and Ray knows he's got to, try to keep the guy from escaping because he's down 30 pips right now. So what's he do? He's probably going to make the 16 and slide on the 4. Yeah, wasn't too many other options. Okay, so John hits that one, but now he's got to find a 4. Maybe he hits it. I don't know. Maybe he defers. Nope, there it is, and Ray misses the slide on the deuce, but attacks back at it. John dances on the 3-point board, so Ray's 40 pips down, but he's he's got a 4-point board down. One of John's checkers in the air, so let's see what he can do. Now at this 4-point board, one in the air, John's about a 55% favorite to come in on any roll. So unlikely to keep him in the air, but Ray's got to start bringing some ammo around to try to make those points, and he has the shot at the second checker right now, and he got it. And now he's going to come down to he's going to hit it and probably come down to the 8 and start he brings it on out. I thought he might try to start bringing some builders down to try to make some of the other points. The double ace, nice roll by John. He brings them both in, makes the anchor, can hit a checker. So it's a very constructive roll for John that accomplishes any number of things. Now Ray gets a little feisty there and throws the cube at John with the lead, although, Ray's 4-way. If he could gammon John here, he can win this match. So it's kind of a judicious aggressiveness of some sort. John was able to what was it? I guess deuces to move up from the ace to the 3, so that takes some of the threat away. Ray's going to have to make the 8-point here, and the decision is: do you make the 8-point coming all the way from the deuce, or do you leave that checker back on the deuce? And he does come from the deuce. So what do we have? Even pip count. Tar's always telling me I'm supposed to be looking at the camera, but the camera's off to the side, and if I'm looking right at the camera, I can't see the board. So y'all will just have to put up with my less than, I don't know, news anchor technique here. Okay, so anyway, John's, a lot of constructive things happening, but he's got these 2 guys stuck back here, and not much flexibility otherwise. If Ray can, get that one guy out, maybe he steps up here. Yes, if he can, he gets hit. So, there some complexity and complications remain, but the ace-6 from the bar, nice. John rolls a 3-5. So with the 3 checkers in and an anchor, probably not a huge likelihood that he's going to get gammoned out of this match, but it's going to be out of this game, but it's going to be a hard game to win. And at this score, obviously, it's 4-way, 5-away, is hugely valuable to Ray to gammon John for the match. By the same token, it's or in the same token, it's just as important to John that he doesn't get gammoned. So, it's kind of a balancing act between the two. It's kind of I don't know, I know a lot of the terms. I don't know always when they're precisely applicable, but it's kind of a gammon go, gammon save sort of situation. Ray is going to play fairly aggressively for the gammon. John's got to play to save the gammon and save the match. Three one. So I mean, John's crunched. He's not going to win this game. Now it's just a matter of, does the roles and the positioning and so forth such that John saves the gammon. Okay, now he's going to get the ace point, or does he? I don't know. I think you take the ace point, obviously. He brings them in. John doesn't get out. There's a 6-2, so Ray's all in and ready to start bearing off. John's got, 13 crossovers. In all likelihood, will save the gammon. Unless Ray were to just get incredibly lucky. And John goes ahead and burns 4 pips there, but he doesn't want to give Ray the chance to close out checkers in the air. So John runs, conceding, pretty much conceding the 2 points and guaranteeing that he doesn't get some freak gammon against him. John was being very careful there because there were some strange rolls that could have gotten him gammon. Ray, of course, now has 5 checkers and can't get off in a roll. So it's just a single game for 2 points. So 5-2 Ray. So here we are. It's an identical situation as was prior match where John led 5-2. Here Ray leads 5-2. Same strategies and perspectives we were talking about for John and Ray last time. We're talking about for Ray and John this game, or this match. So it's 2 away, 5 away. Ray's unlikely to be cubing anytime soon. John wants to, if he can get 1 point, then it's 2 away, 4 away, which is a great position to be in. Ray could take this, and all he's doing is perhaps risking his free drop later by being at 2 away, 3 away rather than 2 away, 4 away. So, Ray takes it. Ray gets a great roll, and John's up against the ropes. Well, Ray sent one back. John eschews the forward anchor and anchors on the deuce. Ray's not having much luck in, he'd like to make the 4 point with all of those builders he has there, but he just, John's been able to keep him off balance a little bit with some hitting some blots. Okay, so nice roll for John. He can move checkers up to the front of that prime. He's got two of Ray's in the air. You can see how quickly the momentum of these games changes sometimes, and now a thing or two go John's way and not Ray's way, then Ray's staring a gammon in the face here, which would give John a 6-5 lead in the match. John, he can close him out, but got to be careful. Make sure he gets one of these checkers out back here eventually, fairly soon. He closes him out, banks on rolling a 5 or a 6. He gets the 5. So great likelihood we're going to see a gammon for John O'Hagan here to take a 6-5 lead in the second match. John won the first match in this 3-match series. So there again, you can see how John positions those spares. He's got very close to the perfect position to take some off before he has to break a point. You saw Ray do exactly the same thing the last game, I guess it was, and you'll see it all the time in backgammon. Position those spares on the higher points when you have a closed out board. You don't want to bury them and have to, break the 6 before you've even taken any checkers off. Now here John should take one off and go 2-1. I suspect the gammon's critically important to him. Ray got them both in quickly, but he's still, once he got 5, 11, 12 crossovers, and double 5s probably put the end to that. So John is likely, almost probably going to win the G here. 6-1, Ray could roll 2 sets starting now. He's still 5s and 6s. No, so it's a G for John O'Hagan. A 6-5 lead, 6-5 Crawford in the, what do you say?
Barf.
Barf, okay. Couldn't quite read it from the distance here. So it's 6-5 Crawford. John O'Hagan is already up 1-0. So he's in a very good catbird seat here, and Ray is backed into the corner fighting for his life. But it's interesting in all sports and games and things like this. I mean, if Ray could get lucky in some fashion here, get a natural G on this Crawford game, he wins the match, and then the series is even 1-1. Even if he just wins one here, then he's at DMP, kind of a coin toss to win the second match, and we're back to it again, 1-1. So it's just a real close swing, even though O'Hagan's one point away from winning the second match, which would give him the series. He's 1 point away from being even too, or 1 game away from being even. So what do we do? Does John run here, or does he? Again, he's got to play the proverbial gammon save here, because if Ray could somehow gammon him from this position, then at Crawford, then Ray wins the match. I think Ray's got to step up and become 6'4". He's just really got to position himself so he can make something happen with his back checker over here. Now, John's got a decision to make. If he wants to hit that checker and go for it, which he doesn't, which I'm not surprised because, he's putting gammons into play. Now there, John's coming out with a 6 and hitting with the 4 and going to be in a very good position. Although it leaves 3 blots. But I think that's the play. But this is, as we all know, this is the most critical juncture of this game and match so far. So John's considering all aspects and angles of this, and doesn't mind burning some of his reserve to do so. You can see he's fixing to go under a minute left. They're in what very possibly is the last game of the match, so that doesn't terribly concern him.
Duplicates aces.
Yeah, I mean, it's Tara's sitting over here whispering in my ear a little bit. If he comes out and hits, then he duplicates the aces. Ray, don't time out on a joker, John. And he does what we suspected he might. Comes out and hits with the 4. So now he's got to, what's he do? He can make the deuce. He just runs free. All he's got to do is have a win. John doesn't need a gammon. So try to take no chances whatsoever. Now he can make the 9, come into the 5. And he just wants to bring it home, leave absolutely no potential for a joker that would cost him the game. Keep Ray in the match and in the series. 6s, okay. Ray finds a joker. Now, fortunately for John, he doesn't hit anything, but Ray has an excellent racing opportunity here to he rolls a 2-1, but this one could go either way. It's just whoever rolls the dice, there's the dice. Double 6 in reply. Kind of like the golfer rolling a birdie in on top of the other guy's birdie. So now Ray's got to have another joker or else John is going to move to the final. And there's double 5s. I think John can start packing his bags to move to the final. Ray needs something huge now. Does that get? Now he's got 8 checkers. Got to have 6s right here. Doesn't get them. John could roll something and an ace and then 2-1 the next time. He doesn't. Match series. John O'Hagan is our first finalist in the 2021 Texas Backgammon Championships Championship Division. And there you see those PRs. O'Hagan back to his norm, 2.99. Ray plays a respectable 6.01. But that's more what we would suspect out of John. And you can see congratulations back and forth to them. They're, as I said earlier, both very respectful of each other's games. And now I have to check. Did you ever see anything from Jonah and Rudy? Are they confirmed for 1:30? Let me check my messages and all here. They say that we are ready. So we may just slide right into the second semifinal, which is good because that's going to give us a little bit more time to get the final in before the Super Bowl. So I'm going to tell them, 5 minutes? Okay, so Rudy and Jonah, I'm sure, were watching this and with interest to see who would be in the final, who they would be trying
That was a big.
play against.
That was a big side pool. That was a big side pool win for John O'Hagan.
Yeah, although Jonah's in it too.
Yeah, I know.
But we right here in 3, 4, 5 minutes, the second semifinal is going to start. Same format, obviously, best of 3 series, 7-point matches. Jonah Seawald from Colorado, Denver area, Aurora, maybe, I think, who actually won this Texas tournament 2 years ago, trying to repeat with a year gap, against Rudy Longenbach from Dallas, Texas, who is not as well known a player, but certainly a great player in his own right. He plays in a few tournaments. He's a very good money player. Plays a lot of Schuetz. Having quite the run this week. He's in the Speed Gammon finals. He was in the final of the Longhorn Masters, and now he's playing in the semifinal to get into the championship division finals. So quite the weekend for Rudy Longenbach from Dallas. You know, he would be, of course, Texas's greatest player, Malcolm Davis, who passed away this past July. Most unfortunate. He's a great friend of all of ours and a great player of the game for 40 years.
Right.
He won our first Texas Backgammon Championship division in 2013, and it was quite fitting. First big tournament in Texas in a couple of decades, perhaps. And Malcolm Davis was the champion. So, and Malcolm was from Dallas. Rudy's from Dallas. So Rudy's trying to bring that championship trophy back to Texas. And I say back to Texas. Scott Ward from Houston won it last year. So trying to keep it in Texas. But you know, we've had a number of. We've had some international winners. I know Mochi won it once. We've had some, you know, people from around the country: Chuck Bauer, Rich Munitz, Antoinette Williams, Mark Antronikian, Ed Laughlin, maybe.
Well, Ira.
Ira was a finalist. Ira Hessel from San Antonio was a finalist and lost to Mark Antronikian. But you know, we've had some great champions, some great matches. You know, it was funny in, I forget which year, 2016 maybe. It was interesting in that just ended up being a ladies' sweep in Texas that year. We had the championship final was Antoinette Williams and Layla Zalitskaya. And Antoinette, you know, won a BG on a really bad beat sort of thing, but hey, that's backgammon. And but then also that year, Elena Evans, who was living in Austin at the time, won the intermediate division. And it's funny, Antoinette won the championship, Elena won the intermediate, and they were roommates that year. So it was fairly exciting.
If you want to report on the intermediate, you can check.
What?
I have no idea.
Check. Can you, the bracket?
You can.
Okay, we did, I'm going to try to, you know, pardon me for looking away a moment here. I'm going to try to, a little bit earlier, the intermediate final of our tournament was played. And I'm going to look here real quickly, see if I can't find that. And Ben Hugon from Houston won the intermediate championship. Ben's been on quite a roll. Last weekend, he won our one of our Houston jackpot tournaments, and then he won 2 brackets in the intermediate division here, and then won the final. So I think Ben has won something like his last 12 matches in our the weekend tournament in this tournament here. So he's been hot.
He
Good.
hasn't lost yet.
Hasn't lost yet in our new Ace Point system. And let me send a thumbs up to these guys. If you haven't visited our Ace Point Backgammon website, apbg.net, or our Ace Point Facebook page, Ace Point Backgammon, you should do so. It's Tara and I have developed a new tournament management, automated registration, automated tournament management system, which is really functionally and visually quite impressive. We're going to be hosting a tremendous number of tournaments throughout the year. Money tournaments, free tournaments, board tournaments, blitzes, you name it. We're going to try to provide something for everyone. So check it out. I think all of the players this weekend have really been impressed by the system. We're proud of it. Tara's put an immense amount of work into it over the last 8 months or so, and
you might want to report on the speed gammon and repeat the limited and Longhorn jackpot winners.
Yeah, and while we're waiting for these guys to take the board here, let me look down again. I'd mentioned that our Malcolm Davis Longhorn Masters was played this weekend, and that was Roberto Litzenberger, a favorite of everybody.
Okay, they're ready, and we're switching.
Won that event, and Gary Olson from Houston won the Alamo Classic. And here we have Rudy and Jonah. Great players in their own right. Jonah won this tournament 2 years ago. Rudy was in the Masters final 2 nights ago. So here we go. Best of 3, 7-point matches. And
Rudy has cashed, what, 3 times?
Yeah, Rudy's cashing in everything he entered this weekend. He's in the Speed Gammon final. He was in the Longhorn Masters final. And now he's playing Jonah to get into the championship final. So quite the weekend performance by Rudy Longenbach. And Jonah, 2 years ago, he won with Roberto Litzenberger. He won our Texas Pro-Am. He won the championship division.
Doubles, right? Seeing doubles.
He won our Texas jackpot. What do we call that thing? I forget right off the top of my head. Where you win points for every match you win in any event. Our Texas points pool. And he won that. So that event 2 years ago, he had one of the best weekends of any player ever in the United States. With those wins, the prizes associated with it, he won by winning the championship, he won the sponsored Jeffrey Parker beautiful Texas championship board. He was in all the side pools of all the events that he played in. We backed a Brinks truck up to the Gunter there in San Antonio for Jonah. But anyway, here we go. 2 cube on Jonah's side. Rudy had some early advantage. He's got a 32 pip lead. Jonah's got 4 checkers back. So it's kind of a interesting offset there. There's a second checker going back. No, he makes the point rather than hit the second checker. Okay. So now he's going to probably hit loose, make the ace point, and then make the 8 point, and do something else. Find another 5. Okay. So now it's getting to the situation. Jonah might be, probably is contemplating sending that cube back over on the Rudy's side. Pretty strong position here. Rudy's going to have a tough decision on his hands. I think he's probably would drop this, but he sucks it up. Here we go. Jonah is able to make that 2-point. There's the 6 prime. Now, fortunately, for a moment, maybe Rudy can bring some of these other checkers home without getting a second one hit and position himself to not get gammoned on this 4 cube in the first game of the first match. He kind of offsets it. He wants to safety these guys so that he doesn't give up that second checker, because then if he gives up a second checker and Jonah's able to close it out, then he's, something on the order of 50% chance of getting gammoned. So, he still might leave a shot at some point, which leaves Jonah the opportunity to get a second checker, but he's not going to get gammoned just by having a bunch of guys in the outfield and can't get them around. He got them home. Now he's just got to keep from getting them hit. And wasn't able to do so. Jonah, hit on the ace, hoping to get his guy hit to get sent back to try to pick up the second checker. He was able to pick up the second checker. And now we're looking at a distinct possibility of a 1-game match here in this first match. Okay, now Jonah's, do I milk it further? And maybe let Rudy, no, not with 2 in the air. He'd have to roll 2 aces or something. And so Jonah closes us out. Now, again, as we've talked about just in the last 2 games by Ray and John, Jonah's going to try to position his spares on the high points so that he can get 1 or 2 or all of them off before he has to break his board, and that enhances his chances of getting a gammon out of this. He also wants to stay even in the back, so the big double doesn't force him to leave a shot. Rudy does have a 4-point board. So, just like the good old days, Rudy says. I don't know what exactly that refers to. Okay, so Jonah's going to take one off, move that one to the 5. Now he ought to be able to maybe get one more off before he has to break point, which he can. Now this time he's got to break a point. And Rudy hopes to get in and around with those 2 checkers to save this first match in the 1 game. Uh-oh, there's a shot, but Rudy better hit it. Well, he gets double 4s, so he's got a chance. He's got to get on his horse. 3-2's not going to help that much. 5-4. Okay, he's there, but it's going to take a set to get in. 5s, 4s, whatever. Didn't do it. Game, set, match in 1 game. Whoa. And look at those PRs, 227, 279. Of course, it was only a 1-game match, but nobody made any mistakes. So the cube plays were right, both the initial cube, obviously, and the redouble. 227, 279 doesn't get much better than that in a backgammon match. Again, a simple game. Well, I say not a simple game. 1 game. Couple of good cube decisions, and Jonah got the gammon. Rudy and gammon, and Jonah repositioned the checkers and get ready to go again. So now Jonah has the 1-0 lead in the best of 3. And Rudy has to win this match to extend the series. It doesn't always happen like that, but it's certainly not unprecedented in tournament play. even in longer matches in tournament play, that a game may well end on a match may well end on a first game with a bunch of cubes and everything be played right. I've seen 16 cubes in Las Vegas on a 15-point match in the first game. And now this time, we're going to the second game. Jonah turns down the cube. So this match is going to last longer than one game. It has lasted longer than one game. So, and Rudy, he getting some rolls in this game. So I'm sure he'd like to return the favor to Jonah if he could. Here comes the cube again. Give Jonah the opportunity to get gammon and maybe again, turnabout's fair play here. Now Jonah's going to be well positioned, and Rudy's got to extricate these two back checkers over here against a very nice board by Jonah. But we'll see. Okay, Jonah's he's not moving off that midpoint, so what does he move the 6 in and the 3 up? No, he runs all the way, which exposes 2 checkers. Rudy's going to have to hit the checker on the ace. So what do we do? Jonah's sitting here contemplating, let's let's play some backgammon, as Malcolm Davis used to always say when we start getting into a very volatile, dynamic situation. The cube's flying back and forth. Let's play some backgammon. And Jonah's thinking about playing some backgammon, and there it goes. So what does Rudy do this time? It's not in a dissimilar situation from the first match. Yikes, he says. So, did getting burned last time kind of cool his jets? Or Jonah says piece of cake. Maybe trying to sell the take to Rudy here, but really though, I mean, if Rudy takes this, Jonah were to dance, he's got 2 blots out here. No, Rudy turns it down. I really have to think that last match influenced Rudy's decision there, because he got burned on that one. He didn't want to get burned in the same manner again. I don't know. I don't know. Again, I'm not the Grand Master, but I wouldn't be surprised if that one might have been a take. But we'll see later on. And again, it's kind of like we talked earlier, I guess, during the John and Ray matches. Backgammon's a real game of ebb and flow and emotion and momentum and all these things. Again, Rudy got burned in the first match, a very similar situation where he took a 4 cube and got gammoned. And then he gets put into the same situation of staring at a 4 cube in a volatile situation in the second match. And I'm positive that prior experience was fresh in his mind and influenced his decision. He wasn't willing to risk the match in the series on that one roll, and chose to give up the 2. It's 2-1 Jonah now, and they, he lives to play another day. But interesting how those two situations were so similar. Rudy gives early cubes, Jonah takes them, turns around, Jonah gets in a very powerful, volatile position and gets to send the 4 cubes back. First time Rudy took it and got G'd for the match. Second time Rudy says, well, maybe I want to play a little bit more backgammon. Maybe I win, but maybe I want to be sure and keep playing also. And he turned it down. So here we go. Rudy sends another one. He's going to make the 4 and shift probably. Yes. Jonah immediately comes in with a 4. with a 3 and can come to the bar. So now, that basic standoff game. So, Jonah, what could go wrong? So Rudy might need a set here or something pretty soon. He's not going to be able to play inside all day. Jonah's got plenty of timing over here, and so let's see what happens. He's likely going to have to leave a shot, and then Jonah will have to hit it. There's the shot. 50-50. He misses it. Oh, Rudy can't get by though, so Jonah's going to have an ace to hit it. Rolls the ace, and it's going to be 4-1 Jonah. This and this is only what
Say hi to Klaus.
The fourth.
He's saying that was a double.
Yeah, David Klaus, and I'm not sure which double he was talking. This one?
This one, probably. Not sure.
Okay. David Klaus was watching, giving us a little feedback, saying he doubted that was a double. I guess he's referring to this particular one. Look here, just like we've been talking about, Jonah gets those pairs on 4, 5, 6, which is the perfect distribution. Gets 2 checkers off now before he has to break his board. Unlikely to get a G with Rudy just having 1 in the air, but they play it right, and you have to give your.
He said he meant last game. Yeah, you can follow from there.
And break the 4. He didn't. Yeah, it reminds me of a kind of a famous quote that's gone around backgammon. Malcolm Davis was in the Nordic Open one time and played Subodny, and I don't even recall for sure which one of them won. But supposedly on the way back to the airport, the cab driver spoke good English, played backgammon, and perhaps even had seen the match or something. I'm not sure, but he's talking to Malcolm about the match, and Malcolm made what's now kind of a famous quote among backgammon: "Is all you can do is give your dice their best chance. Set it up, make the best play, and then you can't control it beyond that. At certain points, give your dice the best chance." Well, and then Rudy's damned if he doesn't, damned if he doesn't in this in these matches so far. He sends what that time seemed a much less volatile cube. Slots on a 5-point board, gets hit and gets G'd. So it's just unfortunately, from Rudy's perspective, it's not unlike the Masters final against Roberto the other night. It was just a brutal, one-sided snowball rolling down a mountain, which by the time it got to the bottom was the size of Pluto or something, and Rudy just got crushed. And he's getting the same treatment today from Jonah in the dice. It's not to say Jonah's not playing well. Jonah's a great player, but man, everything's gone his way.
But Jonah had the best match ever with Albert Steg.
Yeah, you might. When Jonah won Texas Championship 2 years ago, his last 3 matches were just unbelievable. The semifinal match against Albert Steg was one of the greatest matches I've ever seen. Neil Kazaros called that. You can find it on Texas Backgammon Championships playlist. I wrote an article about that appeared in Primetime Backgammon about Jonah's weekend, where he won 3 matches in a row that were just incredible comeback victories from, I forget all the particulars, but he played David Wynn in the quarterfinals and was down like 8-1 to 13 and managed to come back and win that. He beat Albert DMP in the semifinal, which was again perhaps the best backgammon match I've ever seen. And then he beat Dmitry Obakov in the final in another great match. And you got to find that article and look at it. And we got some, we were using some new, just really state of the art, high definition streaming equipment. And we were able to use some actual screenshots, or not screenshots, photos from the stream in the magazine, because the quality of the stream was so good that really made for a great article. Now here, man, Rudy's, he got a great 7 guys back in the ace-2 game, but he had no timing. So, let's see if he can get a shot. And if he ever gets a shot and hits it, then maybe he won't have crunched so much that he can't come back around with some checkers and reconstruct his board and maybe have a chance of winning. But, Jonah's kind of posed with a tough 4-3 there. I think that's right, because he wants to give, don't give the shot now, give Rudy the potential to crunch a little bit more. Rudy gets a checker out. He hopes to get a second checker out. Jonah starting to stack up because of the small numbers. Maybe Rudy makes the 3-point, comes on around, puts a checker where he can get one out. There's a hit. So now he's just got to flood the outfield to try to contain this checker. So he's going to hit it. He's going to bring another out. Like 6s to start with, but okay. Well, now he's got to come into that. He gets hit, probably to the 13 and the 15. Rudy's just, oh, and looky here, another shot. Rudy misses it, but 6-5, that makes the 4. So Rudy might have pulled off a miraculous save here. Again, that ace-2 game with 7 back is, it's pretty strong, provided you can maintain a little bit of structure in your home board that you can rebuild. And fortunately, he got the early shot and was able to hit. Getting some comments from several here. Watching the match. Hopefully everybody's enjoying the stream. Who's the Backgammon Academy there? I wonder.
Oh. Just say hi to Backgammon Academy.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm getting some places are Backgammon Academy. I'm probably sure that's somebody I know, but I don't recognize the name that they're posting under. So help me out. But they're giving us some nice feedback to the stream as well. So
thank you, Backgammon Academy.
Yeah. So hopefully everyone's enjoying this.
Uh-oh.
Now, what does Rudy do with this? He's what's Jonah got off? He's only got 3 off. So if Rudy can close him out, which he does, then he's going to win this game, and we move on. So, man, what appeared to be curtains for, or potentially curtains, certainly for Rudy, on that game with 7 back in an ace-2 game with little timing, he manages to pull it out. And, again, it's a type of player that, given the opportunity, he can accomplish those sorts of things. He's a very accomplished player, and Jonah was a very accomplished player the other way, and got into a position where he couldn't avoid leaving the shot, and Rudy was fortunate enough to hit it and contain it. Hit it a couple of times on the way back around, and managed to save his life.
Wow. Let's just say.
I mean, who would have thought that?
It's a gammon sing. Oh.
Yeah, Jonah would have won.
I see.
Would have lost that game with only 3 checkers off. Okay, so now we're post Crawford. Rudy's gonna gear up that cube and go for the gusto here, and he's got to win this. Got to win this match to force another match. If Jonah can win this match, then he meets John O'Hagan in the finals a little later this afternoon.
Do you think that's more popular than the Super Bowl? I do.
Well, this is our Super Bowl today.
Oh, there you go.
And I'll tell you, John O'Hagan already in the final is he deserves to be in the Super Bowl. And certainly one of these guys is very competent players are going to give him a challenge in that Super Bowl weekend final. Okay, so both of them have pretty good structures here. Jonah's going to get out with this 2-6 maybe. So it's going to be it's kind of interesting how this game is developed. They're both pretty well positioned. The Backgammon Academy is Simon Barget. Is that pronounced correct? Mm-hmm. Simon Barget. We appreciate you watching, Simon. Hopefully you're enjoying this. Okay, so Jonah's managed to get up to the edge of the prime. So Rudy's going to have a tough time. Okay, thank you, Tara. She turned on another big monitor over here that's got the chat line on it too, so I can read that without looking at my phone. So it's going to be a bit difficult for. Well, Rudy, and I looked away for a second, Rudy managed to come up to that forward anchor too. So they're both in kind of the same position. Rudy's going to have a slight pip count advantage, but they both have forward anchors. This one's going to be kind of what the dice give them. Rudy's only behind 3, so he could jump out with 2 decent-sized numbers. It's a little tougher for Jonah to get out, but Rudy doesn't have quite the timing that Jonah does either. So to the ace. Boy, it's a tough call. Rudy may have to go here. Yeah, and Jonah rolls a 3-2, which points. Rudy better roll an ace, or this match is over. Wow, that was a great game, and it was funny how they were almost mirror images of each other in structure, and it was just a matter of who had to leave first, and what the subsequent roll was by the guy that was, replying. And Rudy chose to run, and Jonah rolled the 2-3, which made the point.
He doesn't necessarily need to hit that checker, is what I was going to say, and he didn't.
it looks as though very likely Jonah will bring this home, and I suspect that these guys, Jonah and John, they're both wanting to watch the Super Bowl and have some. I know at least John was talking about a Super Bowl party he wanted to attend and so forth. So I wouldn't be surprised if the final doesn't just immediately follow this.
Okay.
So stay tuned. We'll try to find out.
Well, hang on. Let's see what happens. Uh-oh. Okay. Well, Rudy
So,
had an excellent run.
Rudy had an incredible run and still going. He's still in the speed gaming final to play. So he's had a great weekend. Loses here in the semifinal to Jonah, but that's a cash as well. And he lost in the final of the Masters jackpot. So a great run this weekend. Round of applause to both. And
Oh,
Jonah,
my
3-5. Very,
nice.
very good match. Rudy's a very competitive 6-1. They both played much better the first match. So what a final we have upcoming here very shortly. And I'll
Why don't you check to see when Jonah wants to play?
check with these guys. Hang on, I'll...
There you go. Way to go, Jonah.
Yeah. Way to go.
Who's the favorite to win the Super Bowl?
I don't know, Simon. That's 3.5 points. Isn't a big swing either way. I think most people are hesitant to bet against Mahomes or Brady. Kind of riding the fence, maybe. It's kind of interesting. I don't know if y'all saw this, and I'm going to try to talk while I get a hold of Jonah here. There's a furniture salesman, entrepreneur, magnate here in Houston has made incredible sums of money. He's also an incredible philanthropist here in the city as well. Does a lot for various peoples. But he's a huge sports fan, and
Okay, let me change.
he put down the biggest bet of the year, legal bet certainly, in Vegas and he bet on the Bucks, Tampa Bay. Mattress Mackingvale put down $3.5 million on Tampa Bay. So we'll see. There a couple of years in a row there, 3 or 4 years ago, he had promotions going on that if you bought, I forget the exact numbers, but if you bought more than $3,000 worth of furniture from Gallery Furniture, which is his operation, he's got several locations. But if you bought more than $3,000 worth of furniture, and the Astros won the World Series, you'd get your money back. And in 2017, the Astros won the World Series, and I think Mattress Mac, and he had insured this in some fashion, but he had to pay out like $12 million. So he's a player and a great guy. I've met him. And you can walk in his main store 24/7. And for the most part, Mattress Mac is at the door to greet you. He is the ultimate entrepreneur and salesman. So anyway, let's see. Has Jonah says need 10.
Need 10. Okay.
Let's see.
David Klausa can entertain us for 10 minutes.
Oh yeah.
I would hope so.
Let's see if I can reach John here. See if John is good with that. I'm certainly suspect he will be. So Y'all hang with us here. It looks like in about 10 minutes we're going to the final. Jonas Seawald, who won 2 years ago here in Texas. John O'Hagan, who's Hall of Famer, top 10 on Galaxy, former Monte Carlo finalist, uh, just renowned as one of the great players of the game, and certainly probably perhaps the best mathematical technician in the game. Are you going to be able to put that chat back up there? I like that.
It's because they're not chatting.
Okay, whenever.
It'll automatically come up as people get a little bit more active. So basically, back in 10, what I'll do is to go ahead and put, how many do we have on our stream right now?
Okay, O'Hagan's good with 10 minutes. So,
okay, 10 minutes and we will be back. I will give you guys.
am I going to stay on or what's the deal?
Yeah, you're going to need to stay right here.
Hey, backgammon fans, Bill Riles and Tara Mendocino here from our studios in Houston, Texas. It's Super Bowl weekend. Annually, that is the same weekend as the 2021, or annually, this year's 2021 Texas Backgammon Championships. Uh, our Super Bowl is today. Championship Division Final. Two great players, Jonas Seawald, who was the 2019 Texas Backgammon Championship champion, and John O'Hagan, one of the most accomplished players in the world. Monte Carlo finalist a number of years ago. He's in the top 10 on the Galaxy server. Generally, he's a BMAB Grandmaster. He's one of the most well-regarded mathematical technicians of the game, and just a superb player. So what a feast of games we're going to have here. This is a best of 3 series of 7-point matches. So we're looking at 2 matches or 3 matches here of 7 points. So this should be fun. And having 3 matches, 3 times the excitement of coming down the stretch as to who's going to win the match. So I think they're about to start here. I sent a thumbs up to John. Well, I didn't send a thumbs up. I put a thumb, but I didn't push send. So now John has a send, and we're going to get started here. I want to give a shout out and appreciation to Mark Brockman Olson with Backgammon Galaxy. It's a great site. We all love it. He just sent me a note here a little bit ago. I've just shared your YouTube live stream in the lobby pop-up on Backgammon Galaxy front page. So we certainly appreciate that, Mark, and hope various viewers and players around the world are able to watch and enjoy this match. So hopefully these guys will be, John has said okay, so they'll be setting up the table and starting play here momentarily. And, well, I mean, you couldn't hardly ask for a better pairing than these two guys. Jonas, perhaps not as well known, certainly well known in the States, very good player, does a lot of instruction lessons in backgammon, as does O'Hagan. But, geez, what a couple of great players. And this should be fun. John beat Ray Fogerlin, John beat Ray Fogerlin in the semifinal a little earlier this afternoon, 2 straight matches, and then Jonas Seawald beat Rudy Langenbach in Dallas just a few minutes ago in 2 straight matches. And the Ray John.
We're starting.
Okay, we're starting. Tara tells me. So here she's going to switch on the game.
We're having some problems with Galaxy caching. There we go.
Here we go. She's getting us there. I'm as blind as y'all are.
Okay.
There it is.
We're good.
First match, best of 3. Who's your BG player? Is John O'Hagan. Jonah is Jonas Ewald from Aurora, Colorado. And this should be special. Both very accomplished players. You'd have to think John maybe is a slight favorite, but John's had a lot of success in our Texas tournaments. So here we go. First game here. Jonas managed to extricate both his back checkers, so he's got a forward position, 15 pip lead at the moment. 6-5 is going to play a little awkward. John's going to have a shot to send one of Jonas checkers back and try to balance this game again. Now, it's kind of funny. Again, both these guys are great players. John's a much more What's this? You trying to win Texas regular and online? That's right. Jonah won in 2019.
That means live
But
and online.
live and online is what he's talking about. And so, John's a very steady, unemotional player, real technician of the game. Jonah's a little bit more lively and volatile and has a good time. He enjoys playing. He's a great player as well. So let's see what happens here. John's, starting has a good board started over there. But Jonah has managed to get out his two checkers. His 4-2 is a little awkward. He doesn't necessarily want to just stack two on the 4-point, but anything else, he's going to have to leave a shot. And there's a shot. John doesn't perform, but he's 16 pips down, but 6-5. Okay. So he's rolled a couple of big rolls, so he's closing the pip count. But we've got this again. We saw this in the earlier two sets of matches today, these kind of holding games, standoff games. It becomes a matter of timing. Jonah's got a count lead, but he doesn't have much timing here. And John, if he rolls a 6, has 0 timing. So we'll see what happens. Okay, John's going to, I suspect, play the 2 down, and he does. Jonah plays those, so they both got another roll or two that they can stand without rolling a set to escape or something. And there's John. Jonah rolls the 5-3, so again, John maybe has one more roll. Jonah maybe doesn't have that before something has to happen. Okay, there's the 6-4 by John. Now he could choose to run here. He doesn't. That blot might have been a little enticing, but so now Jonah's probably going to play the deuce point and see what John rolls. 6-2, so it's a double shot. So that's what, 20 plus numbers here. Four, and then what, 2s, 3s, 2, 4. So it's like 24, 25 hitters. So John had the 11. So he takes it. And Jonah hits with the 6-1, but John has a couple of returns here. 5-3, 6-2, 5-2, not quite, but does keep a little more pressure on Jonah to come in. Jonah's going to go to the 1 and come in, so double 6s. So unless John dances all night, we're going to have a 2-0 lead here for Jonah. And John is attempting to dance all night, it looks like. So a ever-increasing G chance here for Jonah. Oh boy, several sets there. And he gets the G, a very unlikely G. So 4-0 Jonah in one game. Now he got Rudy for 8 on the first game in the semifinals. So the dice gods are shining on Jonah at the moment. Okay.
This count them, I'll be fixing the lower third in one moment.
Tara says she'll be fixing the lower.
Yep, sorry.
Chiron.
Yep. Excuse me.
In a moment. I guess that's what she's talking about.
Yeah.
So anyway, she's working on some little
2 seconds.
Technical detail there. And we appreciate the feedback from others.
There we go. Thank you, April.
Thank you, April, for advising her of whatever that was.
I meant there was a
Says
Rudy.
Jonah versus Rudy Jonah.
Right.
Okay, so we appreciate the feedback. She got it straightened out, and we're playing on here. Somebody says Rudy may be an adjective on John Ray. I like that. Okay, so John's got a little positional advantage in this game. Down 4-0, we might see a bit more assertiveness out of here than we might typically. But Jonah has been able to secure the 5-18 points, I guess we would say. But John's got some good numbers going. He's got quite a pip lead here now. But with those two anchors, it's a little difficult to get those two last checkers in past them. And in the meantime, Jonah's constructing a pretty nice board. 6-4, he can make the 2-point. Or I was thinking that was O'Hagan's roll. I'm sorry, 5-3. Which is a great roll. He gets those two checkers cleared. So now O'Hagan should, barring something unforeseen, should be able to bring this one home. And Jonah's really in no danger of getting gammoned, although we thought that was the case in the first game with O'Hagan. But it's funny. I guess it's the analogy ran through my mind. It's kind of like a prize fight or something, and the two fighters in the first couple of rounds here kind of feeling each other out somewhat, and here we are. It looks as though it's going to be 4-2 Jonah after 2 games, and these series of 7-point matches, and there John rolls a 6-2, which blots, and Jonah misses it. But these 7-point matches kind of interesting because all of the in-game strategies and what have you, like 2-away, 2-away, and 2-away, 4-way, DMP, things of that. You come across the strategies. There's the opportunity to see them 3 times in this series. You might hear Sir Guinness in the background there. I think he's a little upset that Mama hasn't fed him yet. So maybe we'll try to take care of him here. Okay, 4-2 Jonah. Both are in great shape time-wise. Hasn't been any particular time spent. So we'll see how this game shapes up. Jonah gets the double nickel. Has the 2 interior points. Gets hit. So John has avoided that blitz that comes with that double nickel early on. And so that's always a great hazard in some of these games, is if you dance or otherwise don't perform after getting hit with an early 5-5 by your opponent. Again, it's interesting that both of those first games were relatively straightforward games where neither player had a lot of critical decisions or had to burn a lot of time or this, that, and the other. They were just, they almost played themselves. This one looks like it may shape up as a bit more of a strategical game. So we shall see. Even pip count. John's now made a broken 5 prime. Jonah has 2 back, probably come out to the 18 perhaps, and he runs and hits, even with the blot in his home board. That's he had to balance the risk of having the blot in his home board versus doing something constructive by making the 18. He chooses to hit and gets that blot hit. So okay, John's going to got a good position here. Sends it at Jonah. Jonah snaps it up. Well, John has a structural and positional advantage, but it's a lot of play left at this point. There he gets hit with the 5. So, but John has a 4-point board, so if he can, roll something which gives him the opportunity to hit Jonah, he may seize an advantage. Jonah gets that with the 5-3 to hit John. So now the converse is true for Jonah, and John's got to try to perform. Tell him they can go ahead and play. It's interesting. I just caught a note, and I want to make a couple of shout outs. Unfortunately, we're not going to be able to stream it, but there's the Speed Gammon final is fixing to take place. Rudy Langenbach, who just lost to Jonah in the semifinals of the championship division here, is playing a great friend of all of ours and
the entire backgammon community.
The entire backgammon world, and so forth. Arda Fendikoglu from Istanbul, Turkey, is playing in the Speed Gammon final against Rudy Langenbach. So best of luck to both of them. Okay, John can't complete the closeout here. Jonah's and he rolls to 6. John's was in a supreme position to get a gammon and still in pretty good shape. Can't roll a number to hit that 6 point. Couldn't cover it earlier. Can't even hit it now.
Wow.
So Jonah's got the opportunity and seizes the opportunity to get them both in and claim the 6 point on John's side. So now John's got to try to bring these checkers home. He's going to make the 7, I guess, and maybe play to the 9. But, so he's got to be careful, pretty judicious in leaving that 6 point at some point and giving the opportunity to, have to come in against a 5-point board. That wasn't what Jonah necessarily wanted. O'Hagan has a pretty good pip count lead. It's going to be, 19 here. 6-5 will play around and in. Or does he want to make the 10 and give him the 3 shot? The 3 dupes the cover checker for the 5. So John having a few of those decisions we were talking about earlier. Maybe he gives him the 3 now, pay now, rather than let Jonah have the opportunity to make the 5 point and create a 5-point board. Because John's going to have trouble clearing from the 15 anyway. So I would go ahead and make the 10 and give Jonah the 3 shot, the duped 3 shot right here. And that's John's going through all the math and the calculations, the match equities, all of that. O'Hagan is the best at it. And he does pay now. He does not get hit. So, and that keeps a G in play. I mean, Jonah's going to bring one down and in, I suspect. So that's going to be or he could run all the way. He's going to weigh the chances of getting G'd out of trying to salvage the game. But, again, John had a tough decision. Now Jonah's got a tough decision. Not sure what I would do. I don't want to get G'd if I'm Jonah. I might just bring it all the way and just more or less concede the two. But let's see what he does. He stays back. There's the pick and pass. So the G is in play. David Clausen said he would have stayed back. Well, you and Jonah are both from Colorado, so you play the same way, I guess. And so let's see. Jonah got in. He's going to save the G. So we're going to have a 4-4 game, a 3-point match in this first match. So that particular game, it was fraught with danger and difficulties both directions, and John managed to bring it home. So 4-4, first game, 7-point match, first match of a 3-match series for the Texas Championship. You know, noticing Klauser commenting there, and Jonah, of course, won the Texas tournament 2 years ago, and Lynn Lusk and Dan Minardi, Ed Ani, Linda Clay, any number of players. We've had tremendous support over the years from the Colorado players, and we certainly appreciate that. Okay, 4-4. Plenty of time for both of them. They've not burned much. 5-4 standard opening, 5-4 in reply. Same play. 6-2. Does Jonah hit, or does he take? He takes the 18, which I would suspect is correct. John's trying to, no other options, get a board going over there. 6-3 is going to leave a shot somewhere. I guess you just play with 4. There's not really many options. Now, does he take his 18? It's just almost a mirror image game. Now, John could just go ahead and make the 5-point, and he's going to be. He takes the 18 too. So again, it's just a mirror image standoff game. Now, does he make the 5 and leaves all the back ones stripped? Doesn't give him too much flexibility going forward here, but he's going to reach that point fairly quickly anyway. He decides to pay now with leaving a 3 shot. John gets the double 6s, which moves a lot of freight, but he's got this, we got that standard standoff holding game. Jonah's got, a lot better timing in all likelihood. He got these 2 checkers on the 11. He's got to be able to do something with, probably. But, Hagen, where's he go? There's, okay. Here's the 6-3. So John's got another roll or two that he can do something before he's going to have to potentially leave from that, from Jonah's bar point. Okay, he can save a 6, which he does. Jonah plays that. So now it's, who gets burned with a bad number? There's a 6-2. Jonah can play it, but now he's vulnerable next roll. John can maybe sustain a roll here. Five, 3. And that's just who rolls the 6 first. Double 4 cures that problem. So, but again, it's, Jonah's got them all in. John has 3 crossovers, but he's 6 pips up too. So let's see what happens. 6-4, nice roll. 2-1. So now Jonah's approaching cashing this. This is close decision. The unadjusted pip counts are effectively even. So it's a tough call. Jonah gets the point. John gives it up. 2 away, 3 away. Jonah gets an opening 6-1, makes the bar. John kind of a nothing 3-2 to try to move it up. Jonah hits the blot. John gets the deuces, which will hit the blot, make the 4-point. So pretty active first 2 or 3 rolls here. Double 4s. John just make the 5. Leave the 1 shot, but do something really constructive on his side of the board. Tara and I would really like to express our appreciation to all the support and play that we've realized this weekend with our Texas Backgammon Championship hosted on our new website, Ace Point Backgammon. Those of you who have not yet had a chance to visit it or look at it or explore it, we encourage you to do so. It's automated management, tournament management, registration, integrated system that is just really slick and efficient, very visually pleasing as well, state-of-the-art website and tournament management system, apbg.net. There's also an apbg.shop if you want to try to look at some of the backgammon accessories we have for sale also. Okay, so John's contemplating. Here's Mr. Guinness at the back door. Mom put him outside to keep him quiet, and he doesn't want to be outside. So he's right here next to me looking at me saying, hey, let me in. It's a gorgeous day in Houston, though, so he ought to be out there enjoying the sun. Now, here's one of those situations. It's a tough call play. John's got a lot of time, so he's gonna look at all his options here. Does he could step up and make that 21 or 22 point, but he chooses to shift. So Jonah's gonna hit in the slot probably. Well, he's got 2 different hits. He's going to come in and slot the 5, which gives him the opportunity to make a 5 prime if John can't hit that 5. Now it's an interesting 2 away, 3 away. It's a volatile position. John studied that for a moment. There was the potential to send the cube. He were he not to perform and Jonah had, then John faced the chance of getting gammoned, which would give Jonah the match. So there was the potential to proactively send it himself. 5-4, so John needs that anchor. There's a lot of blots out there, though. Not much he can do about it at this point. I think he's just got to take the 5 point and then, find the one of his best liking of bad choices, a group of bad choices. But and there it is. he makes the 5 and then just moves up to the 9, which pretty much was what one might anticipate. Now here Jonah, nice set of forwards. He's going to make the 9 and 2. John, I think he makes the 9 and plays to the 3. But Tara's me second guessing, but
No, that looks right.
I was right. Of course, what are you doing? Dachshund running all around my feet here. Double 6 for Jonah puts him in a pretty commanding position in this game. The 6 is obvious, which deuce. Okay. 6 is going back. That's you got to leave with one of those. He leaves with them both. So he's 13 pips down. You know, Jonah 2 away. He's got to be careful with sending it. So he's just got to play this 3-1. What do you do? Play 2 off the 9? No, he stacks them on the 6. Okay, John's going to make the 4-point, or does he step up to try to get away? Banks the 4-point. Getting away, he's too far down in the race. Jonas, well, he can make the. He can't make and keep a 6 prime here. So I suspect he's going to make the 5 and come off the 9. Could make the 5 and shift to the 3. I don't know. I come off the 9, but let's see what Jonah decides to do. John's likely not going to get G'd, although, as I recall, we said that in a similar position in the first game, and he did get G'd. But let's see. Jonah's he's going to have difficulty trying to play this for a second check or so, which he successfully did that first game. John would have considered cubing after the other hit. Good points. We've got a Colorado collection.
On 3.
Whoa. Colorado collection watching their homeboy here. Edward Ani, David Klauser, some others rooting for the Colorado guy. And then John rolls the Joker 3-5, then is able to send the cube back. So now we got a two-way, effectively a DMP game. John gets the early 3-1 and 4-2. I think you're going to see a cube right here. Yep. John's going to take it. So not going to be a much better position for either starting out. So this is the last game of this first match. Wow, what do you do? Make the bar? No, he hits loose. John's reply isn't anything to write home about either. Come in with a 1, but then you got to find a 6. Again, where the first 2 or 3 games of this match were relatively straightforward, now we're down to DMP, winner take all. They both have some time in the bank, and they're both getting some tough decisions. And its decisions obviously are extremely crucial as to the who wins this match. Okay, it looks like John's in pretty good shape. He's got to get a checker out there. He rolls the 4. Now, here's that decision. He went ahead and covered the 2, banking on he's going to be able to get this guy out in a roll or 2. He can step up. What's Jonah got? The ace, and then he's got to play the 6. I think I play out. If John wants to hit me, hit me. There's a 4. Jonah just wanted to, if nothing else, save all the timing he could. He don't let John let him play and ultimately crunch. So now it's just an ace point game with 2 in the air right now. So he's just he can maintain what board he's got and just hope he gets a shot during John's bear off. It's funny, just as an aside, I have 2 monitors in front of me at a little bit of a distance, 2 55-inch monitors. The one to the right has a little bit more glare on, a little bit more sun, whatever. The one to the left is sharper, clearer, doesn't have the glare and this, that, and the other. Plus, I can see the chat on the one on the left. But for whatever reason, Bill just seems to like to look at the one to the right better. I guess it's just a physiological thing or mental preference thing. But anyway, so John is positioned now to begin his bear off. John has just got to hope that he gets that shot. He's got a good board out here. If he can roll a 6 at some point, he's going to have all the timing in the world. Gammons don't matter, so he can just hang forever and hope it goes his way. John's, using all the reserve time that he's got stored up there. There's a shot right out of the gate. There's a miss. So Jonah can, okay. Ooh, Jonah can't get one of those checkers moving, so that kind of messes up his.
There's another shot.
No, not yet.
Not yet.
6-5, so he can run, bring that builder on around. 5-1, there's another shot. There's the 3. Now he can make the ace, but he might want to wait and try to make the 6. He makes the ace. John immediately comes in with the 6. Gets hit with a 4. Now let's see how this goes. John has 7 off, so this could go either way. Okay, John
gets hit again.
Well, this is typical backgammon, back and forth.
Whoa.
Oh man, nice roll, but he gets hit again.
Should he slot?
He slots, which he probably should have. Now he closes it.
Wow.
So, and John has, 7 off, but he has an open ace point too. So a bit of inefficiency there. This is close. I agree, Edward Ani. I think Jonah with the closeout has the advantage, particularly with the void on O'Hagan's ace point. So that's going to cost him a half a roll probably at some point if he gets out and into a race. Okay, now Jonah has to decide, do I rip 2 and give him the shot at the 6? He does. Ooh. Gets the 6 back, stay back. John has to leave him the 2 shot. He gets hit with the 2. Oh my God.
Oh my goodness.
And right back in by O'Hagan.
So does he slot? He does.
Okay, Jonah gets by. So now, man, it's, what do we got? 7, 8, 9, 10. It's dead even almost. 6, 3, 3, 2. So 9 checkers against 8 checkers. There's that ace that was going to haunt him. Of course, with the count, it doesn't matter that much now. O'Hagan, there's another ace. The 3rd ace is going to really hurt him. 4s, still an advantage O'Hagan. Aces, he rolled the ace, but another one with it. 5. Oh my God, what a game. What a match. And what do we got? 278, which is about average for John. Jonah played not very well for himself. Jonah's typically a considerably better player than that. But he gets rewarded with a set of 5s at the very end. And wow, what a game. DMP coming down to the last shake. Jonah has a 1-0 match lead in a best-of-3 series for the Texas Backgammon Championships Championship Division final. So
we're waiting for them to resume.
I agree, April. Holy crap, what a match. Leah Hills. I'm not sure who that is.
Okay, and we are resuming.
We're resuming. Right, here we go. Match 2. So now, John has no margin for error. Jonah has a 1-0 match lead. He'd like to not.
That's Kara.
Oh, Leah Hills. That's Kara. Kara Schultz, who I know is a student of Jonah's and a real fan of the game. So I'm sure she's rooting for the professor here too, perhaps. So John gets an early positional advantage and takes a point. Thank you, April. I'm not the Grand Master, but maybe I can give a little bit of insight, a little bit of personal knowledge of some of the players, and try to address it. The Grand Masters, they're great. I enjoy listening to them and watching them, and they explain it better. But all of them that are watching, if any, know what's going on anyway. I like to try to tailor it for for the, I don't know, less experienced player. But anyway, here we go. Jonah's off to an early, but look at this, an early good board, but then John comes with double 5s from the bar, which is going to, he's going to make the 8-point, putting a second checker in the air. Casual clock would make the commentary easier, but these guys aren't going to play that slow in the first place. And, one of the things in online backgammon, rightfully or wrongfully, there's always going to be some concerns of, is somebody using aids in some sort? I don't think, we tried to not let anybody play who we weren't personally familiar with and comfortable with, that there wasn't going to be any shenanigans going on. But, a very slow clock setting, makes it easier for someone to take advantage of the system if they want to take advantage of the system. Most of the, particularly in the championship level, they want to play with normal time settings, no casual settings. Some of them would even prefer to play with speed settings. Yeah, and Clausen makes his point, casual settings would take forever. But, and it's funny, some players, you put them on casual settings and they think it's almost expected that they play at that pace or something, and it takes a really long time, where they're perfectly competent at playing at normal settings. So I think normal settings is a good adjustment, particularly in the championship divisions. It's like, and I won't call any names, but one guy that played here in the States for a long time, hasn't been very active recently, but he played perfectly fine. He was a good player, could play perfectly fine with a clock. You he played a match without a clock, and he couldn't make a decision for his life. And his matches would take forever. I always said, when he arrived at the tournament, you need to put a clock on him as he got off the plane. But anyway, glad to see a lot of comments coming out here. Here we are. This is kind of an interesting position Jonah needs to roll a 6 quickly. John's going to ride it out in the air here. And John has a 2 cube, so again, Jonah needs a 6. Jonah gets a 6. So now it's a, particularly possibility of a gammon. There's the other 6. So the gammon is probable now. John wants to stay in the air so he doesn't have to, and he's going to get a second one in the air. So, but he doesn't have to compromise his board unless he keeps rolling a bunch of 1s again, like he did last game. But he wants to dance right now, and while Jonah comes in and perhaps ends up leaving a shot, and John's still got the best 5-point board over there. So John Gamaliels, and he probably does know who I'm talking about, and I like the guy immensely. But it's interesting how different players have their different quirks. Now that's an interesting play, and I'll make a comment. Now he didn't get burned. Now Victor lost a bracket final to Ray yesterday, making a play like that where he left 2 on the 5, 2 on the 6, and as luck would have it, Victor rolled the 6-5. Ray hit him, and it was all over. So I didn't have the chance to follow that play carefully that Jonah made, but I have a tendency to try to want to avoid those potential double blotting positions. So John's got to start vacating the premises here. He try to avoid a freak BG. Okay, he's got to leave with 1 now to maybe make. Can't get BG'd. He's waiting 1. There's the shot. Misses it. He got to come out. I think he's got to come out. He does. 5-4 now. It's the coup classique. Got to stay. There's the double shot. There's the miss. So he gets G'd. And pretty much the standard rule of thumb in the coup classique potential there, if you're in a position where if you get G'd, it doesn't cost you the match, then you stay. If you're in a position where the BG could cost you the match, then perhaps you run. So John played that obviously absolutely perfectly and didn't get lucky. Well, he got lucky in that Jonah rolled the ace, but then John missed the double shot. Thank you for the compliment, Sammy. I don't know that totally deserved, but I appreciate it nonetheless. Okay, so here we are, Jonah with a 1-match lead and a 4-1 lead in this match. Best of 3 series for the Texas Championship. Jonah's trying to become the first person to win the Texas Backgammon Championship division twice. He won it in 2019 live in San Antonio with a tremendous streak of comeback wins. He beat David Wynn in the quarterfinal, Albert Stegg in the semifinal, and perhaps the greatest match I've ever seen, and Dmitry Obakov in the final. I mean, a string of great players, an incredible string of comeback victories. I wrote an article about that appears in Primetime Backgammon magazine. It was I think it's called Jonah's Weekend, and it was Jonah's Weekend. So here we go. Let's see. John's got, pretty good structure over there, but so does Jonah. Jonah's just got to get the one guy out. John's going to have to slide on this thing to try to prohibit that. So he's probably going to come out and then slide on the 4. And gives a lot of potential to Jonah No, he doesn't come out. Jonah dances. John wishes he had come out. Now the 6-4 is just brutal. Can't move him. 3-2. John's got to hit this guy. So the shift, oh, that's great. A shift and making the ace point. But now he's got to roll a deuce or a 5 to get these guys out of here. He may send it here. Bet on the come. He does not. This time I bet he perhaps does. Let Jonah pay to see him get the other guy out. Okay, so 4-3. Yeah, and that 2019 win by Jonah, he also won the Pro-Am with Roberto Litzenberger. Thanks for reminding me, Edward. And he also won our Texas, what do we call that? It's it's kind of a side pool where you get points for every win in every division, every event you play in. And Jonah won that overall thing as well. Jonah will get a trophy if he wins this and have a collection going. Thank y'all for the comments on the trophy. You know, it was one of the reasons Roberto ended up playing, he in the Longhorn Classic this weekend, he wanted one of those Longhorn trophies. And he called me, he said, are y'all, even though it's an online event this year, are you still giving out one of those online Longhorn trophies? I said, yes. He said, I'm playing. And as good fortune would have it, Roberto won it.
Trophy.
And
That's a picture of it.
This is a picture of some of the trophies that'll go out. I don't know if y'all can see this. This is a crystal cube. I think that we're going to give for our events this year, other than the Longhorn for the Longhorn Classic and the Alamo for the Alamo Classic Limited Jackpot. But and it's great. And I posted something on Facebook today. Y'all might have seen. You know, one of the things Tara and I wanted to do with the Longhorn event was to have a very distinctive and unique and memorable and sought after trophy, and you know, kind of establish a tradition like has been done with the Crystal Beaver, first in Chicago and now in Minnesota, and you know, the Badger Classic. I guess there are some others.
And also Viking. Viking has a beautiful trophy.
The Vikings have the beautiful trophies and the Crystal Beaver though as well. But anyway, we did so with the Longhorn, and it's become a great tradition, very recognizable, unique, sought after trophy, and we've been very fortunate in having just an incredible lineup of people who've won that event. Is you know, Arkady Sinise, Ed O'Loughlin, Alfred Mamlet, Mochi, Michi, Steve Sachs, Bob Glass, Victor Askenazi, and now Roberto. And, you know, we've now, through 9 years, have established that tradition and, you know, legend, whatever we want to call it, that we had hoped to. And it was kind of fun. Roberto sent me, Steve Sachs apparently sent a message to Roberto after Roberto's win Friday night, and sent Roberto a picture of Steve's trophy of the Longhorn, and like, welcome to the club or something like that. And, you know, that's the kind of thing we had hoped to establish, and, you know, we'll keep it going in the future. So let's see, we got 5-2 Jonah, as he's has the one match lead. He's got the 5-2 lead in this, the second match. He's trying to become the first two-time winner of the Texas Backgammon Championship division. Now he's in little bit of a pickle here, and O'Hagan being down 5-2 sends it, and O'Hagan rolls a double six, which he's got a number of options to really put Jonah in a serious situation here of facing potential gammon and falling behind in the match. John's going to just push the issue here, I'm sure. And John's going to go for the gusto. Can he? He can't make the ace. What's he do? He's got to give himself some more ammo. There he does. Two. Got to play the 6 in with the hit. Just keeping the pressure up and hoping he gets a dance out of Jonah to kind of seal the deal here. You know, these guys, and I think it's true of a lot of championship players, they're playing relatively fast, but I think the idea is on a lot of these forced plays or straightforward plays to, not waste any time on it. Save your bank time for when it really becomes critical. And, the later the match gets, and scores closer and more critical, you're going to need that time. It's funny. We were laughing. We had a guy named Amir Golgulab play in the Longhorn Classic, and he, depending on who you talk to, is either the number 1 or number 2 player in Iran, and great player. He's rated over 3,000 in Galaxy, and the guy can't play fast enough. And and I even talked to Would Clean Up Lane 5. So, another set of 6s, the second one for John in this game. But John is in pretty good shape in that he has the 3-point and 5 points. But anyway, this guy played, who was that he played? He played, I forget who he played in the first round. But, he played O'Hagan. He beat O'Hagan in the first round of the Longhorn. And I mean, he couldn't play fast enough. And I was talking to, his Iranian contact here in town, in the States later that day. And he said the guy was playing the match on a cell phone. So he's playing at the highest level of the game, and he played a 3. He's playing at the highest level of the game against John O'Hagan. He's playing on a cell phone. And he, 11-point match, no, 13-point match, and he ends up with 11 minutes left in the bank. And I'm like, you have got to be kidding me. And I was talking to Arda, and he said the guy came to Cyprus, and he plays like that live too. He played BMAB, scored under 4. He finished in the Super Jackpot final, and it's like he's on fire. He's got a plane waiting that he's going to be late to catch or something. He cannot play fast enough. But anyway, so here we are. John's a 78 pip lead, but Jonah has 2 anchors. Jonah hasn't been able to develop much of a board either, though. But this is a difficult 3-5 position to come home against. And Jonah doesn't have much structure, but he doesn't have any dead checkers either. So if he can pick up one of these checkers, we might have a game. Well, thank you, April. And you've done a wonderful job with y'all's trophy selections, too. I think a lot of players really appreciate the themed trophies and things of that nature, like, we've had in Texas, April and Michael have in Minnesota. Dan Minardi in Colorado has done the same. Some uniqueness, something you can put on your mantle or bookshelf or something of that nature. And I think players really like that. For a long time, a lot of tournaments had the same trophies and loving cups and those sorts of things. And I'm not knocking anybody, but it kind of became routine in a sense, and maybe a lot of players didn't really care if they, for the trophy or not. They wanted the title, they wanted the money, but a number of us have changed that with, I think, with some of these themed, very nice trophies, and players love the trophies as well. It's just like Roberto, and I think he has a longship from Viking, and now he's got the Longhorn. He said he's going to put them together, side by side on his bookcase or wherever he has them. But people don't only want the title and they don't only want the money; they want those trophies. And the Crystal Beaver, it's been around for 20 years or something, and everybody always wanted one. And that's something that Tar and I wanted to achieve with the Longhorn, and we've been able to do that. Okay, still, this is, and Jonah's managed to construct a bit of a board, and John still got to struggle about, coming in against this 3-5 game. Oh, what a roll, 6-4. So, Super, he's, he's not out of the woods, but he's got a decent G chance from here, which gets him back into the match and back into the series. Some neighborhood dog is having an exchange with Guinness here out the back door, so they're barking at each other. Okay, so Jonah's got some decisions to make. When you leave, when you stay, he's got to try to save the G as well. I suspect he's going to leave off the 5 and not burn, a number of pips here. But let's see how he plays this. Okay, so he played as we thought he might. He doesn't get the hit. So again, he's just trying to, he's hoping for a shot, but he's really trying to make sure he saves the G. Getting less and less likely and that he gets a shot, and more likely that he's going to get G'd with this series of rolls we're seeing here. There, John clears that. John's going to win the game. Now, does he get the G? I think Jonah should have taken that 1 inside there. That's a G, folks. So 6-5 O'Hagan. 6-5 Crawford. I like that. Nothing is a blunder as long as Jonah gets the win, Klaus said. Okay, so here we go. Double 4s is a nice roll for Jonah. Now John has got to play this, 2 things in mind. One, he wants to win the game, obviously. Secondly, he does not want to get G'd, so he's got to be somewhat careful here. Conversely, Jonah's playing exactly the opposite way. I mean, he wants to win, but he for sure wants a G. So, and particularly with a 1-match 0 lead, he's got a little bit more buffer there. So he's going to play, and there's a double 6, which, this is going to be an interesting ace point game. But, Jonah's going to play for the G, just flat out to try to get the win here. If he were to lose, they're even 1-1 matches. John just, got to be careful and try not to get G'd. Now, he's probably going to get these 2 checkers home here, so it's strictly an ace point game. Fun, John. Now John has the option. He can hit with the ace 6 which maybe in normal circumstances he would. But if he does here and Jonah performs, then John gets G'd for the match and the championship. So John turns down the hit. So now it looks like O'Hagan has a little, the timing is such he gets to maintain a little bit of a board, but Jonah rolls a double six, which moves nothing. And so that was a great timing roll from him. Okay, here's the roll of the match right here, maybe 2-1. Because John's going to crunch right here. Again, an unlikely G, but certainly potential G. So Klaus is looking at it. Was John not hitting was correct? That's why John's the man. Absolutely. He just couldn't risk getting G'd there. And here he's going to save the G. And we're going to DMP 6-6 match 2. Appreciate you putting in some of these positions and commenting, David. Whoa. One checker. Okay, DMP for all the marbles in the second match. Jonah gets that double nickel and John dances, two in the air to a 4-point board. This is that blitz that happens to all of us occasionally. Bring down the ammo. John's got to get in.
That's Bob Coca. So yes, it's best 2 of 3, and Jonah Seawald is leading by 1 match.
Yeah, that's, I don't know if you could hear that, Bob. It is best of 3, and Jonah's up 1-0. And Jonah is fixing to, well, John got a hit. Now he needs to get an anchor out there. There's the shift. He's got 2 in the air again. Not looking good for John, but it's not over. He's just got to get in. Yeah, Bob. Haven't seen you in a long time. Good to have you here. Okay, they're not quite the closeout, but John better find a 6. There it is. So in every likelihood, Jonah Seawald is going to be the 2021 Texas Backgammon Championship Division champion and become the first person to ever win that title twice. He won it in 2019 and now it appears he's going to win it in 2021. So that's what they call curtains. So congratulations to Jonah in a very good match. Great performance by John to get to the finals.
You might want to You mentioned Jeffrey Parker and how much we miss them.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate that we're not playing live, and we miss the great Jeffrey Parker boards we always get to play on and so forth. But we've had fun anyway, and I hope all of y'all have had fun, enjoyed our new Ace Point website. And look at this PR's 346, 3.6, match worthy of the championship. And congratulations to both Jonah Seawald and John O'Hagan.
And thank Mark Olson and Galaxy.
And again, like to thank Mark Olson and Galaxy. Not only are they hosts, but Mark put the link to our stream on the Galaxy front page today, a pop-up on the Galaxy front page. So that was extremely nice of him to give us that exposure, our players that exposure, and let players from around the world that play on Galaxy watch some of these players. So that's Coca is Jonas Giants level candidates now. Well, I think with his performance over the last couple of years and in several different arenas, he certainly should get some consideration. Now, whether he's Giants caliber or not, I don't know. I think I voted for him last time, but certainly he's worthy of consideration. But and there's so many great players around the world, and during all this quarantine, when people don't have anything to do hardly except play backgammon and study backgammon, there are more and more great players all the time. So
thank you all for watching.
I'm sorry.
And thank them all for watching.
And thank all of y'all for watching. And there I see Mark Emmerich is there as well. So another one of the Colorado players. We had a lot of Jonah had a lot of support here. And Cars in California, but she's rooting for him too, and then all the Colorado people. So that's great. We've really had a great time, and this is great. I'd rather be having the live tournament, but I don't miss the fact that we won't have to be breaking down, packing, and traveling.
And say hi to Jesper.
And
Jeff Proctor.
And we really miss our two great staff members who can't, who aren't here on online, but Jeff Proctor and the incomparable Jesper Carlson. We hope to have them back in a live event next year. So thanks so much for everything, for everybody, for all the support that y'all have provided us over the years, and again this year, and let's just all keep it up. We all look forward to the time when we're playing live again. But the 2021 Texas Backgammon Championships Championship Division winner is Jonah Seawald, second-time winner. Congratulations, Jonah. Thank all of y'all. And who's that?
Much work?
Was it nearly as much overall work being an online tourney?
Not even close.
Not even close, Bob.
Not even.
And ours is us doing San Antonio's perhaps. I don't know, in certain ways more difficult than many people have it as directors because they're typically in their hometowns. We live in Houston, our tournament's in San Antonio, so we're taking everything back and forth, and we take a tremendous amount of stuff back and forth. We have 6 or 8 large screen TVs and all the streaming equipment you can imagine, in addition to boards and all of the accoutrements of running a tournament. So, but kudos to all tournament directors. It's a work of love, and a tremendous amount of work goes into it. So, you can't give anything but appreciation to all of the tournament directors. So anyway, that's it for 2021 Texas Backgammon Championships, and we are. What's this? I want to find out. While we've been doing this, the Speed Gammon final has been going on, and we may have a result here. I'm getting a text from somebody, or Okay, it looks like our speed gammon champion,
Yes.
Texas Backgammon Association, or Championship 2021, Mr. Speed Gammon from Istanbul, Turkey, Arda Bendikaglu. So, congratulations, Arda. Thanks for playing, and that's great. And condolences in one regard to Rudy Longenbach. Had a great weekend. Made 3 finals. The Longhorn Classic, well, he didn't. He got to the semifinal in the main. So the Longhorn Classic final, the semifinal in the main, and the final of the Speed Gammon. He cashed in every event, but he didn't win any of the 3. But what a great weekend for Rudy. He's a great player and a great guy. So anyway, congratulations to. Let's review it. And we didn't try to replicate our tournament by having absolutely every event. We limited it somewhat because we know we can't replicate it online. But in Speed Gammon, Arda Fendikaglu from Istanbul, Turkey. That's great. Intermediate division, Ben Hugon of Houston was the champion. In the championship division, Jonas Ewald from Aurora, Colorado. Our limited jackpot, Alamo Classic limited jackpot, was won by Gary Olson from Houston over Ian Terry from Houston in the final. And the Longhorn Classic final, Roberto Litzenberger, Charlottesville, Virginia, beat Rudy Longenbach in the final. And we had several people had great weekends. Ray was a semifinalist in the Longhorn and a semifinalist in the championship. Rudy had all of his runs. Just a great weekend, and we enjoyed it. First time in 8 or 9 years I'm going to be able to just kind of sit down and relax and watch the Super Bowl, because we're normally still got live matches being played and a Super Bowl party to host and a tournament room to break down and a van to pack and all that kind of stuff. So it's going to be nice to be able to relax, but we would much rather be doing the hard work in San Antonio. And I want to thank so much for all of the assistants and the website, Tara Mendocino. No one does more or gives more to the game than she does. And I'm biased, but in my opinion, that's fact. So anyway, hope y'all enjoyed. Thank you so much. And come check out Ace Point Backgammon. Our weekly Houston tournaments resume next week, and we're going to have all kinds of tournaments throughout the year.
Why don't you say?
And here, here is Guinness, our trusty sidekick, our dachshund. He's a miniature dachshund, and he's a piece of work. So we'll sign off.
Thank you all.
Bill Rawls, Tara Mendocino, and Guinness from Houston, Texas. Bye-bye.